Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
So, Commissioner, you've just met with the all Nigeria parliamentary group. How did the meeting go?
Well, I'll say it went very well. This was what I expected, and I'm glad it worked out very well. I am believing that there are going to be subsequent meetings with this group, obviously because of the interest that they have shown in Abia State and then Nigeria in general.
And you spoke about specific sectors for where there were investment opportunities. Can you just talk about which ones that you shared with them?
Well, I mean, I did share the fact that agriculture is very, very key to Abia State, and then there's quite a lot of room for investment in agriculture in Abia State. There's also lots of room for investment in the oil and gas, because these two constitute the larger chunk of Abia State's economy. But then, of course, there are the other aspects of the economy, like the health, which I had. There is sports, there is education, there is housing, where I think there is room for people to come in and then key in and then be able to invest and get good returns on their investments.
You spoke particularly about the potential for manufacturing and Abia's role in manufacturing in Nigeria. Just tell us a little bit more about Abia and being there and its role as the SME capital of Nigeria.
Well, I think I try to draw the attention that Aba historically has been referred to as the Japan of Africa. The other towns, obviously would include Onitsha and then Newi, both in Anambra State. But the one in Aba in particular, is very well known for its input in the leather industry, in the textile industry. And you won't believe it, like I did show to them today, the bag I came to this country yesterday with is made in Aba. How else can I showcase the fact that we can do it? The only thing we're trying to do is that we're trying to let our manufacturers down there, those small scale enterprise people, to know they be proud in what they do. Rather than making these bags, these quality bags, and then giving them the label from another country, you should, we are proud to say this is made in Abia, and we want them to continue to do that, because that's the only way we can tell the world that we can do things in a manner that is also acceptable worldwide.
I've got a little business going on in my own place, and what we're trying to do is to popularize the notion of Abba made. Is that something that resonates with you? Abba made.
It does resonate very, very well because these are rather very hardworking people. You know, quality. We as a government, we are trying to ensure that whatever it is that made them ab initio, label their bags, their shoes as made in foreign countries, when in actual fact they're made in Abia. We want to change that narrative. Give them that confidence that you can do it, and I know we can do it.
Tomorrow you'll be meeting with, there's an investment forum, and you'll be meeting with Abia Indigenes. Well, what's your key message to them tomorrow, and other investors, of course?
Well, of course, it's the same story I'm going to tell them, that things are changing in Abia State under the able leadership of His Excellency Victor Kezekba's PhD. The narrative is changing. This is a man who's reached out and then wants people who can bring quality and value to government. He's assembled quite a lot, a good number of us. And for me, being in there, it's a call to serve my people, because it's the same community that's giving me so much. So I can only aim to give them my best. My best may not be good enough, but I aim to give them my best.
Commissioner, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you've just come out of the meeting with the Commissioner from Abia State and with the all-party parliamentary group for Nigeria. How did you find the meeting?
Yeah, the meeting is very good. It's a very good one. The commissioner from Abia State, the commissioner for health, he gave a good account. He explained, and the people appreciated and knew the opportunities that are there. They happen to get the gist of the matter, and tomorrow they are going to meet to discuss further. I believe it's a very good meeting, it's a very good start, and if other states in Nigeria will copy what Abia is doing, I think it's a good thing to do.
You try and push investment all over Nigeria, regionally, nationally.
That's right.
What are the challenges in trying to do that? That Abia might face, and then what are the opportunities as well for Nigeria? Because obviously it's a big market, it's an exciting market.
Yeah, the challenges are the same. If it comes to security, insecurity, you have from north, south, east, west. They are there. So it's knowing how to navigate your ways out of it. The state governments, the federal government, they are doing their best. They have curtailed the Boko Haram, the abductors, picking people for ransom, the armed robbery and all that. They are being taken care of. So there is, as far as that one is concerned, is being addressed.
What about the power situation?
Yeah, the power situation is quite a serious one. But this government has put in place things that are going to work out well. Yeah, so maybe let's give them the benefit of the doubt. From now to 6 months, 1 year, we're definitely going to get to see some appreciable change. Already, Abia State is talking of that company from the U.S.
Yes.
They said within 6 months we'll have. They will have light there. So I believe the federal government is doing its best to make sure something like that happens in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the opportunities?
The opportunities are abundant. There are opportunities in every sector. You have the education sector, you have the manufacturing sector, you have the agricultural sector, you have labor, availability of labor, and there are just so many things you can talk about when it comes to investment in Nigeria, really.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Chief, you facilitated the meeting today. What outcomes did you expect, and did you achieve them?
Yes, it indeed went very well, and we're happy that this is the beginning of kickstarting a relationship that will unlock the potentials of Abia State and strategically engaging with the United Kingdom. Like a member of the Parliament for Newcastle did ask, and we did point out that it will also commence the bilateral relations which we are seeking to build between Abia State and Scotland, which dates back to 1876. And she has also given us another lead to look in the direction of Newcastle, which we didn't know. And the meeting also was quite revealing that we didn't know that she has some connection to Abia, being the place the father worked and practiced as a doctor. We're looking that this relationship would help also to support UK in dealing with the issues of migration because of the pressure that's feeling on their borders because of migration of young people. But if with their support we're able to create industrial clusters and investors invest in a place like Abia, then we generate employment, we create wealth, and people, it's a win-win situation both for United Kingdom and Nigeria.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. And also, by the way, there's the Abia Invest in Abia Forum, which is being put together, that's also holding in the House of Lords, being hosted by Lord Sheikh and the Association of African-Owned Businesses. Because when we talk about investors, we're looking for other investors who are not looking also for among Africans in the diaspora that own businesses here that are doing very well, and we're encouraging them to also invest in Africa and Abia State in particular.
Thank you.
Can I just say this as well? Investments coming in they're not just channeled once.
Commissioner, how did you find the meeting tonight? Some very interesting questions and people interested in Abia.
Well, I think clearly I wouldn't say I came unprepared, but then I also knew that when I was coming here I was going to meet rather very intelligent people who are contributing positively to this society and who are hungry to come to Abia State, but then they need a bit of assurances by way of the kind of questions that they asked today. And I hope in my little way I was able to stand in ably for the governor of the state, who unavoidably was absent. So
I think people found, that you answered the questions well. But one of the things that they were saying was the need for a structure after you've gone, so that the feedback loop can continue. You're taking home obviously the suggestions that have been made. What about this idea of some kind of structure?
Well, I think the fact that Ingo, who actually anchored this meeting, in concert with all the other bodies, including yours, and then with the able support and help of Lord Sheikh, there's going to be some continuity. Obviously, the continuity is going to ensure that this dream does not die, because you're going to hold me responsible, and then we're also going to hold you responsible for keeping this dream alive. Yeah.
And we're looking forward to, I think it's July when the governor returns.
Well, as far as I know, we do plan a trip to Scotland. The governor is going to lead a delegation to Scotland in July, and then hopefully we should be able to also pass through this place that's passed through England. And then hope that what has happened today will probably have time to say, okay, fine, since that the last meeting we've had today, what has happened so far? I'm sure the governor himself will step into the shoes and then answer the questions for himself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good meeting that we had at the House of Lords to look at investment opportunities in Abia. We've had Lord Sheikh and other investors who have expressed interest to go to Abia following this forum that the governor of Abia State sent an able representative to stand in for him for his inability to be here in person. So we are appreciative of initiative and vision to, engage in the Nigerians in diaspora, and also constructing a framework of engagement that will reach out to the regions in the United Kingdom in terms of bilateral relations, which is the first time states in Nigeria are now beginning to reach out to understand that they need to work on bilateral relations with regions in the United Kingdom, especially as Abia is working towards forging bilateral links with Scotland. And the MP who represents Newcastle, who is the chair of all party parliamentary group, did also express this idea that it's the right way to go, because she specifically actually have invited Abia to also look into Newcastle so that we can take things forward in that direction. Thank you very much.
My name is Lord Ambrose from Global Energy and Mining Solutions Group. We're at the House of Lords, the House of Commons. We've just had a magnificent event with individuals from various organizations, companies that's come together to see how we can develop the opportunities in Africa. Such events is so important for the growth, unification and development of Africa. So I'm proud to be here to represent Global Energy and Mining Solutions Group. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Diana Constance de Martini, and I represent the company Ambassadors Counselor. We attended today the event that has been dedicated to investments in one of the African states. We found it very intensely interesting, and I would like to point that apart from bringing the investments to Africa, what Africa really needs is very intensive education that would correspond to the Western standards. This is something that we can provide in the shape of business courses or very specific financial advisory. There was a lot of participants in this event.
Okay, we've had a wonderful experience today from various heads of states in regards to Africa. What did you feel about what was spoken about this evening?
Well, with respect to the investment forum to Abia State in Nigeria, I thought it was quite an encouraging and, might I say, an appropriate event to take place. I must say it's the first of this type that I have attended, but it's quite encouraging. I hear good things from the governor of the state and more so from the commissioner who's representing him, Dr. Ahokan. So I hope that there is a follow-on, because that is what would actually establish the success or otherwise of the process that they've begun today. Fantastic. So I thought it was very good.
Fantastic.
Good.
Okay, tell me about yourself. What do you do and who you are? Sir?
Well, I think I'll be quietly proud to say that I come from Abia State myself. Wonderful. Originally, but I practice at the English bar. I'm a barrister in England, and with, might I say, a significant amount of experience over time. I can make a contribution, but then it depends on whether it's appropriate and it's timely. But if invited to, it'd be an honor to do so.
Wonderful. One more question. Do you see that there's great opportunities in Africa that needs to be addressed?
I think the opportunity is limitless. In fact, the question is that of organization and administration. As soon as that is sorted out, I think the potential, I will not be overstating it to say that the potential for growth and development out there is far greater than anything that you and I are witnessing here.
Thank you.
So it is significant, but the people have to be organized and be ready to take it up.
Okay.
Okay,
Wonderful.
so it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so this evening's been a wonderful evening. How did you feel about the event?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the event was very much in order, even though the timing wasn't all that enough for everyone to ask questions. But I think His Excellency who visited has some information which he has to pass back to the governor. And it's obvious that everyone is interested in investing in the state. And I, for one, being an indigene of the state, even though I'm a geologist here with British Petroleum, it's an opportunity to hear what people feel about the state, and we'll be in a position to guide them, those who want to invest, to channel them, those in mining, those in oil and gas, and who want to come into other areas and be properly, living here gives us the idea, like Lord Sheikh did mention, you get to know so that you'll be properly guided. But I think the event was very successful and should be encouraged. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, such lovely young ladies. Tell me how you felt about the event this evening.
Well, I was really honored to be here. I think it's really important that these initiatives are given the space to breathe. We need to direct investment towards home, our home country, towards our states that we know. Abia State is the name of the game today, and that's why we're here. Abia State has so much to offer. I am just completely enthralled by its leather industry and its apparels. The clothing industry is fantastic. I think it's time for it to explode.
Yes,
and I
that's
think
what we were saying,
yes. And I think what that will generate is the funding that will fuel the infrastructure that is required in the state. It's a shame that I didn't have the chance to ask my question, but that's how I feel. I feel that this is a step towards the right direction.
As for me, I would say, impressed by the requirement for services, the extension of requests for help, and the way that the gentleman outlined the actual needs, being health, education, and also agriculture, outlining what the state's priorities are. And indeed, the education sector, once people are informed, they're empowered. So that's what's important. So I'm just praying that the number of investors take up on those challenges, and that there's, let me say, as you say, an explosion within the state, within the growth of the economy of the state.
Fantastic.
I'm just excited.
Can I just say this as well? Investments coming in they're not just channeled through one port. Various sessions like this speak to different people.
Multifaceted.
Yes, so it has to be multifaceted. So we won't stop here. We will continue to facilitate and encourage other groups like this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, who are you, sir?
Well, my name is FOLAYO, and I'm the CEO of Visage PR. Visage PR is a perception management company as well as brand company. We were instructed to help in marketing the event, and that's what we basically do. We help organizations, create broad awareness on the various events and the various products or services that they intend to launch to the wider market.
How do you feel the event went this evening?
I think it went very, very well. Just taking note that it was planned in a very short while. I, first of all, would like to commend Chief Owone for being able to put it together, and talking about the opportunities. More than ever, the appetite for investing in Nigeria is significantly quite huge at this point in time. And of course, looking at Abia as a state, from what the representative of the governor did share with us, the Abia is open for investment. The various sectors from agriculture to education, as well as, I believe, transportation. It's such that people need to take advantage of, largely even Nigerians in the diaspora. Small, medium-sized scale businesses, based on their exposure, their expertise that they've garnered over here over the years. There's so much that can be transferred back to Nigeria, and of course primarily the state that was presenting opportunities today. So all in all, I think it was just a fantastic opportunity for people to hear of those opportunities that do exist, out there in Abia State in Nigeria.
Thank you ever so much.
My pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you feel the event went this evening?
It went great. It was a lot of information, and we learned quite a lot. I'm very happy that Abia has got all these stuffs, especially with the leather stuff. They're into agric. The information they've given us this evening was great. I'm very happy about it, and we're looking forward to doing business in Abia State.
Fantastic.
Very, very motivating. And the fact that they've actually given us opportunity that there's need for us to come back home to invest is what I found very amazing. And the opportunities in Nigeria is a lot. And they actually gave room to investors here to come back home, mostly Abia State. There's a lot to be done in Abia State.
Okay, so from the information that you got from this evening's presentation, what do you believe within your organization that you can bring to the Abia State?
My organization is into youth empowerment, and I also think that there is a lot of opportunity there because I'm into transferring skills to the youth, and I believe so much in skill transfer. So the fact that they've given us the platform, the opportunity to come back home to do something, my own part is going back to Nigeria and mostly to Abia State to transfer skills to the youth over there.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
He's the governor of Abia State. He's the commissioner for health for Abia. Barrister Chukwuokoye.
Okay.
He joined us as well.
Hello, how are you?
I will sit in this meeting.
So let's get another chair for it. Is there enough room for it from here?
Oh, yes. Abia State is one of the federated states. It's out of 36 states of the country. Abia State is in the southeast.
Southeast,
Yes,
okay.
If you
Sure.
go
I
out,
see, that's fine. I see what
it's
it
in the
is.
southeast,
Right.
And then it's got a population in excess of 3.7 million persons.
Right.
And then it was created out of a previously existing state called Imo State.
Oh, that, for some reason I've heard that maybe in discussions we've had. That's right.
And that happened in
discussions we had maybe.
Yes, and that happened in 1990. So we've come of age, it's been a gradual development. And basically the economy of that state, 39% of it actually rests on oil and gas, because we do have oil wells being part of the oil producing states. Agriculture contributes about 29% of our income.
It's from agriculture?
Yes.
Right, 29%.
Yeah,
Okay.
29%. And then manufacturing.
That would be dropping. Every decade, agriculture accounts for a small percentage of the market.
And then, of course, manufacturing is there. We have the leather industry, the textile, ceramics, and rubber. Clearly, what we want to do is to get people to now have the confidence to do business with, especially the manufacturing sector. Because they do quite a lot of things. As a matter of fact, this bag, which I do have here, is actually made in Abia. Even though it's labeled made in Italy. But what we're trying to do, is to change the narrative and get people to have confidence and label this bag that was made in Abia with products from Nigeria. Yes, leather and the tanning industry. So get them to label this made in Abia, because the tendency is that when you label it made in Abia, people tend to feel that it's inferior. So we want to get that confidence and get people to come.
How are you that makes perfect sense. How are you doing that? I mean, your own visit is part of as you say, changing the narrative. And above and beyond your visit, for which we're grateful, are you employing other public relations methods to try to get the general message out into the investor community in the UK and maybe beyond that Abia is a place to do business? I mean, how are you? Are you doing a large public relations campaign, or?
Well, the thing is that yes, well, Ingo is sitting in and doing that for us. But then those of us who are on ground, who feel it and who see it, think that it's not just going to be a job done by Ingo and other organizations alone. We who are in it also need to come and
sure, of course,
tell people exaggerating the platform so engagement like this.
I'm aware of Africa's doing well, and Nigeria is now. They used to talk about BRICS as emerging countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, the emerging economies. But now they've expanded to the next 11, and Nigeria is part of the next 11.
Yes, indeed.
Nigeria,
the main economies.
Yes, that's right.
Malaysia,
exactly
Indonesia,
right.
Nigeria, Turkey.
So there's a general willingness. I mean, you're probably pushing at open doors. People are probably pretty happy to hear what you're saying. But my question is, it's easier if you have, there's many Nigerians we're lucky to have quite a few Nigerians in North London. Do you use that community to create business relationships? Because they can they can be a bridge between British business interests and Avian British business interests. You know, you use the community as intermediaries. Do you do that? Or?
Well, I think we do quite a lot of that, but then we
yes,
I happen to be a medical doctor, and at the moment, the Commissioner for Health in that state. But then on this occasion, I am speaking for not just health, I am speaking for oil and gas, because there's no way all of us are going to be here at the same time.
Right.
You know, so I am kind of taking on the job of trying to
customers for local businesses.
Yeah, you know, and clearly the choice of me by His Excellency, who, by the way, unfortunately, is unable to attend, and that was consequent on a call he got on Saturday when the president of the country, Harry, returned from China. So he then summoned an emergency national council of states to which all 36 governors must attend or send in the deputy. Well, he chose to go. The deputy had to man the home front. And then so who should be the one going to London? Because these events have already been scheduled. And then there was no way they could just throw it back. And yes, and so clearly, John, all right, you've been in the UK for 15 years. I think you know the talk. And so between Saturday and Sunday when I arrived, I'm kind of learning to do standing.
Do you have literature of certain companies whose products you're looking to display? I mean, or actually, if you don't have it on you, I think we haven't done one thing that we're supposed to do. I brought a couple extra business cards today. I'm supposed to exchange business cards, of course. It's a business person that can do, isn't it? You're the mayor. You don't have to see You're the mayor. You can see. Everybody knows who the mayor is. Thank you.
I'll send you a mail with my details.
The company products from Abia State. You spoke of rubber products, you spoke of textiles, you spoke of different sectors.
Agriculture, I didn't even finish.
Agriculture, yes.
Agriculture, and of course, I'm sure if you've been looking through literature, you know that Abia State and that's Southeast Nigeria, we have very rich arable farms, farmland, and then of course we have semblance of all-season rainfall, so we don't have that as a problem. So obviously the main crops, maize, which can get rubber, oil palm, cocoa,
palm oil.
Yes, palm oil, cocoa, yes, cocoa, rubber, and then cashew nuts.
Cashew nuts.
Yes, and a few others, that are major and even groundnuts.
Do the Abian agriculture exporters, they already have trade relations with British importers, I would imagine. And I'd imagine you'd be looking to expand those Contracts.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you very much. Thank you. They sell to, they don't only sell to importers specialized in African exports, they sell to importers full stop, correct? We have people here who, I'm having lunch on Friday with an interest, it's actually Turkish interest, which is very, very big, which buys products such as nuts. I mean, I know that's only one item. We've spoken about many different items. I'm aware that's only one item. But I also know that they buy nuts in large quantities. You know, we have a lot of mouths to feed in London. You know? And this is a big city, right? Okay, so I think what the council could possibly do is out of friendliness, our boss, our leader, would say that we serve as the coordinating council, which is we serve as an air traffic controller. But it's an honor for us to help communications, because if that translates into greater business flows, we're delighted. That's what we're here for. The council itself, you know, we don't have any money, we don't do too much business in our own name, but we do try to facilitate business. And what you're speaking about is a very healthy and honest, you know, the expanding markets. That sounds great. I mean, who's not in favor of that? So I mean, I think if you had email attachments with further information on the specific countries and the specific products, I'd be delighted. I'd be able to share that with people and say that we met. So if you could, you know, we're speaking about maize, we're speaking about palm oil, we're speaking about, I mean, just here, just sitting on this table, you said cashew nuts, and I just suddenly thought, on Friday I'm having lunch with a Turkish manufacturer here who buys cashew nuts. So I mean, that's only one small example, but I'm saying we could do this more professionally.
Yeah, that's why.
If you have a business card,
yeah,
you
we have a video. Invest in Abia website, where that should be the platform where this kind of information will be shared.
Okay, that's fine.
So that would drive the message.
So that's interesting. That's a separate topic, because on one hand we're talking about goods made in Abia that we import in the UK, but you're talking about foreign direct investment in Abia itself. That's interesting.
It's both ways.
True,
because
they're both possible.
Export-based revenue earning. For instance, the bag, the product you talked about, it's cheaper to manufacture that in Abia, and then bring it here to sell.
Sure.
So it's a two-way thing.
It's a British interest which sets up an investment in Abia, but then re-exports the goods. They're both that's fine. They're both different ways of doing business.
The platform to drive them is a web portal that can interface on both sides, and the Invest in Abia Forum website can fill in that gap.
Sure.
And information shared, and then member organizations who have products and services to bring to the market place, to make it known globally.
Part of my job is to regularly meet with all the businesses in Enfield. I'm the cabinet guy for business, and I'd be honored to share your website with those businesses. I'd be honored to share the information. Certainly, that's a good part of my role. That's a positive part,
Because I think part of the problem earlier was that people really never believed what we were doing, mainly because of the bad press that we were doing. But what we're also trying to drive this time around as well, it's not, we want to walk the talk. It's not just me coming here to mouth of what we're doing. We're looking at the possibilities of you finding time, even if we have to sponsor that. Come and see what we're doing, and then see where you think you want to key in, because we think that this relation is going to be a mutually beneficial thing. And by the way, I've only talked about agri, we talked about oil.
There's also textiles, you said. There's also ceramics. There's also rubber, you said.
There is the health sector. Yes. Where there is investment opportunities, there is the solid minerals.
Health sector. No, health sector is a big one.
Yes. Solid minerals. There is the tourism, and then there is sports. I'm sure you probably will be following some of the big time players here. We have products of.
Super Eagles.
Enyimba, no, not just Super Eagles. Starting from Enyimba football, which is one of the regional players in that part of the world. I'm actually...
Careful, I'm a Tottenham fan. we're always looking for good players. And actually, we know Tottenham Hotspurs.
We're thinking about a friendly between Enyimba and Tottenham.
Have you gone to meet Tottenham yet? Have you met them yet?
You have to guide us. It's good.
I can do that.
Yes. We want to arrange a friendly between Enyimba and Tottenham.
If we're serious,
yes.
I can make the introduction.
Okay.
I'm not Tottenham. I'm only Enfield Council. but it's an honor. As I said before, it's an honor to make introductions. Okay. And I do know people at Tottenham Football Club through this role, and I'd be delighted to broker that meeting.
We're quite happy, and I'm sure His Excellency, the Governor of Abia State, represented here.
As long as Tottenham wins. Yeah, no, I love Super Eagles. They were great. Those in the
But anybody is great. They may beat Tottenham.
I'm sure they will. Okay, no, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Okay. And the Nigerian community how many people in London come from Abia? I mean, we have a Nigerian community in Enfield. We're lucky to have in Enfield and lucky to have in London. But I don't know whether amongst the Nigerian community who's moved to London, what percentage comes from what province is what I don't know. You know, how many come from Abia or not?
Quite a good proportion, I would say.
Kate Osmore is the Member of Parliament.
Yes, we met her yesterday, Monday. We met Kate already.
Yeah.
She's the chair of
Kate
Osmore. Yes.
Osmore.
We had a meeting with the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Nigeria and Africa on Monday. They are
and
the ones
Kate was there.
Yeah, Kate
that's important because she's Enfield, we're Enfield. I mean, she's the part of Enfield that she represents is Edmonton, which is where Pat is a councillor. But she's an MP, which is it's a big job. It's an important job. And I know that I've seen her tweet and Facebook from visits to Nigeria since she's been MP, and I know it's on her agenda to something similar to what you're saying, which is to intensify economic and other relationships between Nigeria and the UK. So I'm glad that you met her because she'll have a similar agenda. She'll be a great support for the ideas that you're putting forward.
Yeah, she actually heads the Nigerian
All-Party Parliamentary Group.
That's right. That's right.
And she's instrumental to this visit.
Yes, I'm sure she is. Okay, good. But she said she's. I should speak to her. I should speak to her and see what specific companies she's. Because what we're talking about, there's a general perception, and you spoke about that, and then there's the specific companies. And I understand that they do go together, but even as we're speaking, I'm thinking in my head about translating the general principle of greater trade relations, which we all agree with the specifics of which companies would be interested in the sectors that you're talking about. And that's why I need to have after this meeting, I'll take away thoughts with the information that you'll kindly send me. I can take away thoughts about the specific sectors and what are the companies we know, and that'll make it a bit more concrete. Okay, good. And Kate can help with that also. Okay, good.
I would just like to say a few things about health, because you mentioned health, and my current portfolio is public health. So to know what sort of avenues that you're looking at working with us in partnership, but one of the areas that public health is looking at and really leading in London is FGM, so the female genital mutilation. And if it's a problem down from where in Abia State or in Nigeria in general, and also HIV, Ebola, so those sort of areas within public health, what it is that we're doing and how probably we can work together.
Clearly, one of the things I did when I went back to Nigeria in December was obviously to take a look and see what our problems are. Our problems have actually not moved away from the basic problem, which is malaria. Malaria at the moment constitutes about 69% of the morbidity concerns that we do have in that area. But then of course there are other things, there are the non-communicable diseases, and now the the very, very infectious diseases that include the Ebola, the Lassa. I'm sure you will know just most recently we had to deal with the Lassa fever outbreak. And it's not as if Lassa fever is new to Nigeria, but it's been an ongoing thing since I think 1969. There are usual seasonal outbreaks coinciding with the dry season. But then Nigeria has risen to the occasion generally. Then obviously down the states, each state has a contingency plan to be able to deal with such things. Clearly, we are partnering with international agencies. The World Health is there, UNICEF is there, and a lot of other agencies that have peculiar interests. There is the agency, I think UNICEF is particularly concerned with the HIV breaking the transmission and dealing with patient deaths. And so we have what we call the State Agency for Control of AIDS. Just at the same time, you have the National Agency for Control of AIDS, and so it cascades down from that. So clearly, the room for partnership is so much. Obviously, we need assistance with medications. We need manpower training, and then we need the hospitals. And Abia State does have a few tertiary medical institutions that are not functioning the way they should function. And so clearly, there's been this drift, medical tourism, which number one is draining the economy, because a lot of the medical migration, it's to India. Obviously, coming this way is a lot more costly, so they tend to migrate to India, to these other third world countries where they feel it's cheaper. But then, if we put our acts right, get the assistance that we need, then we can begin to address such issues at that level and reverse, medical tourism, as well as dealing with these other issues that we know are kind of endemic. So it's a two-pronged thing. Clearly, it's a two-pronged thing, and then we need assistance at all levels. And like healthcare in Nigeria as a whole, it's organized at tertiary, secondary, and then primary levels. The federal government is to a large extent supporting the primary healthcare level, but then where we want people to come in and assist us mainly is at the secondary and the tertiary level, because if we get that right, then the primary care level would have a good referral system, because you refer them from there upwards and they don't get it.
There's this new, resources being put towards the female genital mutilation. So we have lots of our Africans living in Enfield, and it would be good to work with back home, so that to make sure that whilst they're not getting it from here, that when they travel abroad, there's not something that...
Actually, obviously, it was an issue in all the years I've been here, female genital mutilation. Now, obviously in Nigeria, it's not as if it's not an issue. It is, but it is not, high in the front, the way, it's not in the front burner. And obviously in the scale of what our problems are, it seems to be down the line. I'm not trying to say it's not important, but then if we're having mobility concerns coming from something as straightforward as malaria, and then you have, say, £100 to spend, you want to rather spend it in this area that's going to affect more people than this other one. It's not as if to say that is not important, but then I know that the wives of most of the state governors have it as pet projects. They are advocates, and they're trying to make sure that that
because we're looking at it as child abuse, so not necessarily.
Actually, I went to Trust for London recently. Probably were at Trust for London. That's one of their main campaigns they're pushing for at the moment. I'm a British-born Nigerian. I go to Nigeria quite frequently. I would say escaped FGM. My mother was, and my grandmother unfortunately went through the process. But some of my friends who have gone back, got married to gentlemen in Nigeria, even age 40 and plus, they've been advised to first cultural, spiritual, all kind of reasons to undergo FGM, even at the age of 40. And they're coming back and not saying anything. I've got a friend who told me about 3 months ago, and I was thinking, so you went to Nigeria, the prerequisite for her being able to marry a Nigerian Igbo, obviously she's not pure and fresh, was only to have the FGM, and then she could be accepted. There's a lot of ladies recovering the younger generation. They've actually gone and done it themselves in order to get married. And then the prerequisite for that is they will now have children in the UK. We're going to go through it because obviously, so that's what we need to actually infiltrate ASAP.
Do we know what part of Igbo that is? Because I'm surprised to hear this.
The state the person was from.
21st century?
Well,
somebody
she,
at the age of 40.
a man asked her, I wouldn't say to make her back into a virgin, but that was his prerequisite. She could come to Nigeria because he's such a busy man. Because he's such a busy man, he thought if she underwent that particular, she wouldn't be wayward and be flirting with. Do you understand? It's a bush mentality. Her husband, I think, is 49. She was 39, and she originates from Anambra State.
Faithful. To have a faithful wife.
Yes.
Hear this kind of things coming out.
He wasn't educated, but she is a solicitor and practicing in the UK. That's what's actually quite astounding. That she went ahead just for the sake of getting married.
Yeah, because the area we're looking at is the fact that it is child abuse.
But she's likely to go.
Adult abuse.
Yeah, but then that's violence against women. So there are so many ways to say violence against
in her
women.
pregnancy, which is now, I did ask her, so therefore, because she's never had it as a child herself, would she then indoctrinate that same procedure on her daughter, I think it's a girl? She said yes. So when that child was born, I'm saying from a social services point of view, they, if she mentions it to the wrong person, she should be monitored, etc. So even though she's been warned to be very, very careful when she does that procedure to keep it quiet.
Thank you for sharing this. That's good information.
Plus for London, just
Can I just add to what Neka said about how Abia would like to be supported in the health sector from both people in diaspora here and the UK. And Doctor, I've had your presentations in terms of those support. They tend to be US focused. We have quite a sizable number of Nigerian, as you know yourself, medical professionals here, their association of nurses, and various bodies who are willing to support the effort in scaling up services in the health sector. So I would like you to address how you want to, tap into this vast resource that is there available for you. Much as we have our brothers in America, our sisters in America who are willing to engage, people here are also very willing to give back by way of supporting, by medical missions, by other ways they can.
I hear what you're saying. I'm thinking, as you're speaking, I'm thinking of the problems, and again, Neka knows this better than I do. We have a shortage of GPs, general practitioners in London. We would be shot if we were trying to encourage general practitioners to leave Enfield at a time when all of our voters are saying we don't have enough, and per capita it's dropping terribly, the coverage. On the other hand, the other items you've spoken are a lot more feasible. One is the training. Training is possible. This is always possible. And equipment is probably also possible also. I just needed to interrupt you, I'm sorry if I'm being rude, to say that we have a shortage of general practitioners ourselves. And I say in Enfield, you don't live in Enfield, you live in another part of London?
I have a property in Enfield, and I actually lived in Enfield, and I have a relative who works at Evergreen, as you all know.
But you know throughout London.
I know what's happening in Evergreen. The stress is unbelievable.
You're familiar with it?
Yeah, so even now.
It's Enfield, it's throughout London, possibly throughout the UK. This is like for GPs.
Yeah, but what we can help with would be linking with Royal Free for training.
Yes, that we
so that support is something that will be there for life, as you said. It is more sustainable. So having even
our very senior practitioners coming over for update training. So they've got a link, university, teaching hospitals that they could come and work
like sharing best practices,
yeah.
Share the best practices.
So that's maybe something that if it's of interest, if you could probably send me an email and then I'll take that forward from that aspect.
Did you say there's an association of Nigerian doctors and nurses?
Yeah.
You said nurses?
Yeah, there's an association of Nigerian nurses.
Mansac.
Mansac is for doctors.
Doctors.
So then there's
And you spoke to them?
I intend to open up discussion on his behalf. Yes, but primarily this time it's on the mandate of the governor to present the state holistically, and then when hopefully, because we're also thinking that he will come to meet with the all-party parliamentary group on health, that will be a separate engagement that he will be undertaking as Commissioner for Health, in that regard, to tap into all this kind of resource that these conversations are bringing up now. It's throwing up quite a lot, and we're indeed very grateful that you have brought this perspective on the table.
I'm really sorry, I have to go. I've got another meeting and I don't mean to be rude, but
can we do the presentations before? Sorry.
One sec. Chief, one sec, please. Chief.
Oh, please. Yeah.
If you can all want to do presentations.
Support.
You want me to take it? It's not working. I don't know. I hope I get some of this.
Yes, please.
If we just stay near here.
Okay, shall we do the
Let me get that.
Your Excellency, on behalf of the Governor of Abia State, Dr. Okezi, and the people of Abia State, he has mandated me to present this to you as a token of his appreciation for hosting him today. And he says thank you, and he expects to have your visit at your confidence.
Thank you so much. It's very grateful to receive this on behalf of the London Borough of Enfield. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
That's good.
We should hand it over.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you having problems with that?
Is the
The light on that side is very.
Okay, don't worry, I will edit it. And then there are also Nigerian insignia, key labels, which I believe you find useful for you and your team. It's got the massive by Nigeria. And then, yes.
Thank you. Very impressive. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I've got a little token here because this is a visit that wasn't planned.
Sorry.
So we've got something here which is of interest, and this is for you to take home from the London Borough of Enfield. All right. When you get home, you will know what it is and the usefulness of it. Okay?
It's got the crest on it.
Yeah.
It's a paperweight.
Wow. It's a lovely gift here from the London Borough of Enfield.
to the governor.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, do you want to come here?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, I'm the official photographer, so.
I hope you're not covering the camera itself.
No.
Okay.
Let's go. Just want to find out from you how fruitful this meeting has been today.
It's been really, really informative. So we've learned a lot about the business and the economy of Abia State and Nigeria in general, and how we can work together with Enfield, London Borough, but also the UK in general. But most especially, as per my role as a cabinet member, public health, we've talked a lot about the training that we need to be able to support our people back home in Abia State and in Nigeria to be able to make better services for the health of the residents. So we will be looking at it, something that we'll be looking at how to provide some equipment support, but also training facilities.
Great. So with the support you're looking or talking about, what are some of the things that you're looking out for to do at Abia State? And then which area do you think they can receive some investment in Abia State, where people will actually want to do an investment there or back home in Abia State?
So the investment I would be particularly interested in pursuing would be training our nurses, midwives, but also the doctors. So you would have the junior doctors, but you would have the consultants as well that have qualified over a number of years but don't have updated training. So we would look at partnering with some very specialized hospital that work really well with Enfield Borough to see how we can get that support in training for our staff back home in Nigeria.
Wow, great. I know you're a very busy woman. You've got meetings to attend, but finally, just give us a final word for Abia State as they keep watching this very telecast or this broadcast.
I believe that Abia State, as well as the Igbo-speaking Southeast region, are quite a good state to look at to see how the government there is actually supporting innovative ways of regenerating the area. So there are lots of ideas that our commissioner has brought today to London to discuss with other organizations as well. So I'll say look out, Abia is on the trend.
Look out, Abia is on the trend. Thank you very much, madam, for your time.
Okay.
And you have a good day.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. And yourself?
Good. Not so bad. Thanks for asking. We know the Abia State came to the UK for some business transactions. What have you actually gotten from them, and what do you believe that Enfield Council can be able to do for the Abia State?
Well, it was very interesting. It was a useful meeting. The gentleman, the commissioner who came here, or his representative, gave us an idea of which sectors of activity are most advanced in Abia State, which sectors where they believe they can transact with a business interest in the UK.
Right.
And Enfield Council itself would not be the counterpart for such transactions. However, we are delighted to have the opportunity to coordinate relationships between business interests here and business interests elsewhere. So we can serve as I refer to it as an air traffic controller. And the idea is that we're very happy to communicate with our many business contacts here in the UK. The very interesting and useful conversation we had today with the representatives of Abia State, and hopefully something very concrete can come out of that.
Oh, okay. I want to find out from you as well, for the meeting, certain areas were mentioned during the meeting. Which areas do you think are potent areas that the UK government or probably the Enfield Council would be interested in to do some investment back in Nigeria, Abia State?
Several things. First of all, you're right. I can speak in the name of Enfield Council. I can't speak in the UK government.
That's
we're
right.
local government here. And it's not in the name of Enfield Council itself that any of these investments would take place. However, again, we have very good and positive and regular contacts with business interests in Enfield. And we are very happy to speak with our business contacts. We have regular relationships with them about the meeting we had today. And we'd be honored on behalf of the gentleman who we met today to share the information that they will be sharing with us. And then we will speak with our business contacts here, and then we'll be able to broker reciprocal relationship where they can speak directly.
Right. Okay.
And but we will have noted which sectors of activity are of direct interest to Abia State.
Okay.
And we hope they can match up with the opposite interests here in the UK.
Sure. Right. Because I realized they mentioned about health. They mentioned something about tourism as well.
Yes.
So tourism, health, and some other.
There are other sectors as well.
Okay.
So health, I realized you spoke with my colleague Naka Kizo about that, and that is because of our relationship with the Royal Free Hospital.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can be done in that area. For more economic areas, your colleague spoke with me about Abia State's presence in sectors such as agriculture, sectors such as energy products, textiles, rubber as well, and I think there was a mention of ceramics. And so I'm looking for more details from some parties in the delegation about what products specifically within those sectors are areas of great interest to Abia State. And then I'd be very happy to take that out to Enfield Business Interests and see if there can be some mutual interest in those areas.
Wow, great. That's good to hear and that's good to know. Finally, I just want to find out from you. I know Abia State will be watching this very broadcast. So what have you got for them to listen and hear that UK, or they say the Enfield Council, is actually having some few deliberations with the delegation from Nigeria to be of help to them back home in Abia State?
We have a large, I think it's referred to as a diaspora population.
That's
in London, and specifically in Enfield. We're very honored and pleased to have a Nigerian population and a certain number from Abia State. So we're very honored to serve as an interface between the country of origin and Enfield.
Great.
That's economic, it's also social and cultural. And if we can end up on a lighter note, right next door from here, there's a football club called Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay.
The gentleman who had the pleasure of meeting today spoke to me of the football teams in Abia State, and I'm very delighted to.
Can be some exchange programs.
I hope. I would very much look forward to that.
That would be lovely.
Football diplomacy.
Of course, that's very true.
Excellent.
That's very true. And as we all say, football unites people together.
Go Super Eagles.
That's right. Thanks so very much for your time.
Take care.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
What do you make of this meeting?
I mean, the meeting is very fruitful.
You are talking to him. Yeah, that's fine.
Very.
Start again.
Okay,
the meeting is very fruitful.
Yeah, okay. The meeting is very fruitful.
The meeting was.
Oh yeah, the meeting was very fruitful, very impressive. A lot of good information came out of it. Ways of working together with the borough, with the United Kingdom, with London. Ways they can be of help and ways that we can be of help to them as well. So it's a symbiotic meeting that is bound to yield results.
Wow, so like a win-win situation.
Indeed.
It's not just that Abia State only received from the Enfield Council, but you also have got something for the council as well.
Oh yeah, the council has a lot to receive from Abia State. I mean, think about it. If they have to set up leather production company in Abia State, for instance, they got things that will make it a lot cheaper to export it to the UK, and they make more money for the borough. And we have the labor force already in Abia that makes Italian standard leather materials, and this will be a very lucrative option for them as well.
Great. I know this meeting purposely was also not just for only business per se, but also for health as well. Which other areas do you think that the Enfield Council will benefit, or they can be able to invest into it in Abia State, Nigeria?
I mean, Nigeria is got massive opportunity, whichever way you look at. I mean, I spend a lot of time in Nigeria too, so I see opportunities all over the place. Apart from agriculture, you talk of oil, you talk of medical, the health sector is huge. Lots of Nigerians go overseas to pay a lot of money for medical training services. Apart from training, they just go there to receive treatment because the equipment and facilities they need on the ground are not there. I know of a case now getting ready to go to India for heart surgery because they can't find facilities to do it. Opticians go all the time. I mean, some people have seen the benefits and they've calmed down already because in Abuja you have an Indian hospital that is growing very popular.
Wow.
Because they're making a lot of money from people coming. They thought if we bring this thing down here, we're still going to make a lot of money.
Okay.
And readily available to people. Wow. And they go on radio interviews to talk about what they do, and they are flourishing.
Wow.
Not to talk of when you have British standard of medical expertise on the ground. It's a win-win.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes, I've lived in the UK for many years, practiced law in the UK as well as in Nigeria, and I kind of got to a point where I said to myself, there is need to give Nigeria a second look. I call it the Project Nigeria. You don't have to expect to have UK in Nigeria because it's not possible. You have to take Nigeria with all its nonsense, with all its sins. You have to love it. If you can't find in your heart to say this is home, others can call it wilderness, but this is home. If you see it like that, then you begin to prepare your mind to overcome the challenges that are about to hit you. Because electric failure has not ceased, water difficulties has not ceased, roads are not as good as in the UK, facilities are not the way it's in the UK. But the truth is that the whole country is infested. I use the word infested deliberately because it could be contagious with opportunities. You just need to look and choose which sector you want to fall into. I mean, people are in the bad habit of thinking I need to be in government to be in Nigeria. That is rubbish. Don't bother yourself with that, because very soon government will no longer be attractive. The private sector of Nigeria is untapped. Loads of brain drain. Well, because the country suffered from brain drain, loads of people, quality people, are outside the country. And the truth is, the nation is left in the hands of people that you are better than in diaspora. If you get to your village or your town, you will see the heads of your town. Some of them are in the motor parks, and they are the chairman of your village. And that's because you're not there. What you must do is to engage, even if you need to start by frequent visiting and begin to learn and understand what is going on. But at the end of the day, just like a former prime minister of this country said to Britain, upon all your sins, my country, I still love you. That must be the heart. That must be the spirit. If you don't have it, if you're going to delight in negative things about this nation, don't bother going, because what is inside of you will destroy you before you start. But if you have the positive approach to it, the moment you find your food, you've got things you're taking away from the UK that is not there. Even if it's your industriousness or your assiduousness to work, they are not there. People are not that pushful in a productive sense. You're going to put it into play and you're going to fly. But you must know it's not going to be easy. This country has moved on without you. Don't expect that, oh, this is my country, I just come in, I start reaping. It doesn't work that way. People were there. Be wise, be British, queue, wait, listen, learn, and look. You're going to get what you want.
Thank you very much. You just heard the voice of the barrister, and his final words, which I love, is that it doesn't matter how sinful you might think your country might be, still love the country Nigeria. Keep watching.
Thank you. Cheers.
I have here with me His Excellency, who came from Nigeria purposely for a meeting which, according to other people who have spoken, has been fruitful. I want to hear from him himself, his name, and then what the meeting actually, how it's gone so far. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Good. Can you please introduce yourself to us?
Okay, my name is Gozie John Ahukan.
Honorable.
And by the special grace of God, the Honorable Commissioner for Health, Abia State of Nigeria. And today, representing my principal, His Excellency the Governor of Abia State, Dr. Victor Okeze-Igba's PhD. It's been my pleasure to attend the series of meetings on his behalf since Monday. Today is Wednesday. And I guess your next question will be, how has the meetings gone?
Exactly. So for Monday till now, How's the meetings been fruitful, and what results has this meeting actually come up with?
Well, I mean, I have, on His Excellency's behalf, had the privilege of meeting an array of persons, starting from Monday, when the first meeting got on in the House of Parliament, and I had the privilege of meeting Chiomura, who is the MP representing Newcastle upon Tyne, and then who is also the chairperson of the APPG group on Africa. And I also did have the privilege of meeting Kate Osama, who is the APP chair specific for Nigeria.
Wow.
In addition to Lawrence Robertson, who is representing Tewkesbury in the Parliament. And I must say that meeting was quite effective in the sense that Abia State, represented by me on this occasion, were able to push our arguments and tell people that the narrative in Abia State is changing clearly for the positive reasons. Number one, because my principal obviously believes in doing things the right way, and he has been able to pick an array of members of the public who share the same vision with him. It might interest you to know that I have been in the United Kingdom for almost 15 years.
Wow.
And just in the last 5 months, I've been able to relocate, to be able to not just sit back here and criticize what's going on home, to be able to add on and add value to what we're trying to do in Abia State.
Abia State, great.
Obviously, to tell people that Abia State is an investment-friendly state, there are loads of things you can come in and look at the possibility of investing, spanning from agriculture, health, which I mine, solid minerals, oil and gas, education, tourism, and sports.
Wow.
So clearly, the opportunities are there, and we're trying to tell people here, and we've sold the idea that this is a new Abia State, and we are willing to partner. We do not claim to know it all. We welcome ideas, and then obviously we want people to come in, provide them an enabling environment, and then for them to do business.
Wow.
And also, of course, to throw the light on the fact that some of the challenges that people or investors might have that are being addressed. The issue of roads, the issue of power generation, the issue of corruption. So those are in the front burners. And then the ease of doing business in Abia State. And like last night, I did in tone that clearly we are doing up a structure where you can come in and do business, do your transactions from the beginning to the end under one roof.
Wow. Wow, great. Secondly, I want to find out from you. So it means that from Monday till now, the meetings have been very fruitful. You just had one with the Chancellor for Enfield and the Enfield Council. And I wanted to find out from you, how did that one also go as well?
Well, let me draw us back a little.
Okay.
I think I talked mainly about the meeting on Monday, but then yesterday we now have a bigger meeting from the one we had on Monday in the House of Lords, chaired by Lord Sheikh. And then in attendance we are, an array of investors who really wanted to come and hear the story and then be able to make up their minds. And then we also had a bit of our diasporan brothers and sisters who attended to hear the story that we had to tell.
Great.
And that meeting, which lasted well into the night, was quite fruitful. And today, my visit on behalf of His Excellency the Governor of Abia State to the Mayor of Enfield is a continuation of that. I mean, it's the same story all the way.
Great.
And right at this particular meeting, at least I was able to drive home to Neka Ikazo, who is the health secretary here, the need to look at the possibilities of investing in health in Abia State, which is which is the ministry that I supervise.
Wow.
And so
we have agreed in principle to do business. It remains for us to now put it down in paper and then begin to actuate it.
Correct.
I also did meet with the Secretary on Trade and Investment.
Okay.
Who just left a couple of minutes ago. And, it's the same story, which is that we want the narrative in Abia State to move away from the negative.
Right.
And then go to the positive, which is what's on ground. And we're inviting them. We're not just talking the walk, we're walking the talk.
That's right.
And so we are inviting them to come and see what we're doing, so that it's not as if I'm just here mounting out what we're trying to do. They should come
and just come have a look at what is actually there on the ground.
Actually there.
So in branding Abia State, I know people normally will have a different mindset before of Abia State. What can you tell them that, look, what you knew Abia State to be before as an old brand, just come have a look at the new branding of Abia State?
Well, I think yesterday, last night at the meeting, that a question like that was thrown, and it came by way of somebody asking, so what is new going on in Abia State, and then how do you intend to ensure that when we come to do business, we are protected? And the way I answered that question was this way. I have been here in the last 15 years, and I've had the privilege of at least every year going to Nigeria 3 times in a year. And I know that the story that is out there in the public domain, half of it is actually not true. It's more like, blowing the story out of proportion, about the negatives.
Right.
And clearly I drew their attention.
They normally say negative news sells.
Yes. And clearly I drew their attention to the fact that personally on my own part, because of my frequency of visits, I was not really totally disconnected from the system.
Correct.
I could go to Nigeria without thinking, they've said security situation, kidnapping, armed robbery and all that. Well, as a person, you needed to take precautions yourself.
That's right.
Don't forget.
Yeah.
And then, the story about, the roads are all bad, accidents, this, that, that's entirely not true. True, there are bad roads.
Not all the roads are
not all
bad.
the roads.
Yeah.
And then the power generation, you need to buy a generator and blah, 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 and all that. And of course, as a Nigerian, it's been part of our problem. And right now, the environment is now being created for, number one, the power situation is being addressed. It's common knowledge for those who have ventured into Abia State in recent times, and they've been awash in the social media that the current governor of Abia State is doing quite a lot of development in road infrastructure, especially in Abia, which is the arrowhead of that state in terms of revenue generation.
Okay.
And then the power thing, we told the story of how Geometric has now come on board, and we have resolved what were the log jams.
Okay.
And then we do expect that within the next 4 to 6 months, they should come on stream, and then Abia State should be the first state in Nigeria to have 24-hour
of power
supply.
Wow.
And then the excess power generated can now be sold to the national grid. So clearly, there are different things now being done in a positive direction. So it's not enough to sit back here and then criticize, they are all criminals and all that. And in any case, I also drew the attention to the fact that corruption, which Lord Sheikh himself did mention, that corruption is being addressed squarely. Clearly, there are quite a lot of high-profile cases in the courts. At least that's some deterrent for those who might be dreaming of
trying to enter into that.
And then the body language of the president is clearly zero tolerance for corruption. So everybody's still, when once the leadership, has the willpower to say this is what we want to do, every other person follows in line.
Great. Yeah, that's good. But in terms of the corruption, I know some people normally say that there is no government that can be able to eradicate corruption totally from a country or a nation. So with Honorable or His Excellency now having this vision of zero tolerance for corruption, do you think that it is a possibility?
I mean, it is a possibility. I mean, I remember that one of the first things I had to do was to go through the security screen.
Oh, okay.
I had to declare everything that I had.
Wow.
Before getting into office.
Great.
And I'm expected to declare when I'm leaving office.
Wow.
And in addition to that, not just declaring, they have been on visitation to actually see the documents to support what you have declared.
Exactly. Wow.
Clearly we are trying to do things differently.
Wow. We hope that it goes well, and then for this very government, see that whatever they've put across board as being their vision is able to be achieved.
Exactly.
Honorable, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a very busy person, and so we are very thankful to you for the opportunity. You have a wonderful day, and wish you well in all the other meetings as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.